All right, everybody, how you doing tonight? Coach B back here with another Bears video. So again, this one is the last one in my little series I've been doing in the Bears 2021 mock off season, and this one is tank scenario. So this means, either quarterback, they'll probably both play in this scenario, then neither do well. We have a rather crappy record, which I don't really see happening, but if it does, and say we have that like 6-10 type record that some people are predicting, which means we're going to have a higher draft pick, then this is kind of the scenario how I can kind of see it working out. So again, I'll show how I started it. Same thing, breaking down all the free agents, the cap space, nothing changed there. Cap space still 31.7 million. Still the same cuts essentially, adding in Nick Foles as a cut here as well. So same, he got cut again in the Trubisky one. But again, and if Trubisky stays, Foles very well could stay as well. But in this scenario, we don't keep either. So we let Trubisky walk, and either Foles gets rid of his contract because he's like, fuck this team, I don't want to be here. Or we just find a way to release him. So he's gone, saving us quite a bit of money now. So now we have a little bit more to work with. So same rework and extensions kind of as initial. The Eddie Goldman, 2 years, 18 million, saving about $3 million. I talked about him already with needing more guaranteed money. Akeem Hicks, the 1 year, 10 million, saving about 2 million. Him, again, adding another year to really save his, or add that final year to what will probably be his last contract. He's getting up in age, probably somewhat close to retirement. I think we will be the last team he plays with more than likely. So adding that, kind of final year to him, he'll play his last 2-3 years with us and probably retire. And retire a really good player. Al Robinson, same sort of contract, 5 years, 80 million, about 17 million. I do predict a contract similar to this happening before season starts, ideally. Mainly the reason why I'd like this to happen before is because right now I think his market is somewhere between that 16 to 17 million dollar range. And a lot of people are saying maybe around that 20, which is the top tier receivers. But I don't think though he's great, don't get me wrong, and definitely close to the top 10. I don't know if he's fully proven himself to be that, elite style elite, full elite receiver, the top of the top. So, most number ones are around that 17 type. He's definitely not as good as Michael Thomas, who's around 20. Definitely not as good as Julio Jones, who's at like 22. So I think he's more around that 17-ish, range. Biggest thing is if he really balls out this season and we don't have him contract, he may want to test free agency, or he's going to demand that $20 million a year, which personally I don't really want to pay that right now. We just have so much money elsewhere that it's going to be hard to give him that big of a contract. 17 is already a lot. So try to give him around that $17 million a year and hopefully start before the season. Tight end again, Demetrius Harris, keeping him. I like him. I think he could be a really good number 2. And if we did draft another one or sign somebody else, he's definitely high level number 3, maybe a low to mid level 2. But I think him and Cole Kmet can make a pretty good duo together. Both actually kind of have similar traits. They're both big, athletic guys, can play both at U and that Y spot, so they have the versatility. So we'll kind of see what happens there. Keeping Eddie Pinheiro again. Definitely, I think he's going to have a really good year next year. Same with keeping Alex Bars. Here's a new one, though. I'm actually keeping strong safety Deion Bush. He's probably one of the ones we'd keep on the other ones, too. I mean, he's only going to be about $1 million for another 1 year, $1 million, if he doesn't test the free agent market. So this year, I kind of expected him to. He's a solid safety. I'd say maybe a low-level starter, but still starting caliber, definitely a high-level backup. So we'll kind of see what happens this year with him. I mean, right now he's a backup. If there is an injury or if, Tayshaun Gibson doesn't really play that well, we could see him get in some. But I'm not sure how many reps he's going to get this year, so maybe he could want to hit free agency and try to get a starting job somewhere. But definitely, I would try to keep him here. In this case, right now, he is the starter. And tell him, be like, this is your starting gig finally. for this time. Still have the Javon Wims trade. Javon Wims and a 6th-round pick to the Bills for a 4th-round pick. You could also do it because, again, I'm assuming the Bills are probably going to have a higher round or a high pick or a low pick, I guess. They're going to be a good team. So they'll be like in that upper 20 range in the first round. So you could maybe go for them and be a late 4th-round pick, or maybe somebody like the Patriots who might have a lower pick and they don't really have many receivers either. So they could definitely go for something like that. So I could see this happening. This trade I actually could see happening before season starts. So he may not even be on the team, or at least not the team the entire time for this year. I definitely could see this like the post preseason before the trade deadline, obviously, but I think that's a very good opportunity. Now, here's where I had a little bit of fun with this. So free agents, I had 4 this time. So the other I only had 2, but we had a little bit more money in this case. So I got Darrell Williams. I had him, the offensive tackle, before, same contract, the 2 years, $10 million, $5 million. I was able to also get Brandon Sheriff, kind of that same contract, the 3-year, $40 million, $12 million. So at this point, our whole line is really set. And I would think probably the weakest point right now would be Leno Jr., maybe Williams, but, hopefully if he's playing well, then Leno would be kind of that weakest point there. And I think the line would be pretty solid there. Went back to Matt Beretta. I grabbed him again for that 3-year, $10 million, or 3 years, $10 million for about $3 million a year. You could probably still do a Kareem Hunt in this case, because I had $10 million for my final cap, by the way. And then I did grab a QB. And this one may surprise you, but I thought of this last year, and I kind of wish we would have done it, but we didn't. I actually grabbed RG3 for a 1-year, $6 million deal. You see, he's recovered. He wasn't a bad quarterback at Washington. He was solid. Main thing that hurt him was injuries. So now he's spent a couple years, been behind Lamar Jackson. I think we play best when we have a mobile quarterback. I just don't think it's going to take us a while to build the kind of line as long with the top tier receivers that you need to have that kind of, pocket passer, just pure, that Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady type quarterback. Although Patrick Mahomes is relatively mobile, but you get the point, that Matt Nagy wants. So I think we need somebody who's somewhat mobile. And I think RG3 will be a really good bridge quarterback, but he's also looking for a starting job now. He doesn't want to be a backup. He had just said recently, actually, and this video is coming out in June of 2020, that he's going to play this year with the Ravens, but then he wants a starting job again. So, essentially bring him in, bridge quarterback, give him that, tryout deal, essentially. All right, let's see what you got. He will start off with, as we groom, who I'll grab as our franchise quarterback, hopefully for next time. So those would be our 4 free agents. So again, kind of same thing, leaving about $10 million. And again, instead of Matt Beretta, you could grab Kareem Hunt as well. You had still an extra couple million that I would say. Normally, again, you want to say about $8 million where I say pre-draft. So in this case, yeah. So now my draft changes just a little bit. Back end guys are still the same, but 1st round pick. Remember, in this case, we tanked a little bit, which means we'll probably have close to around 10-ish pick or so. I don't think we'd be necessarily no matter how bad we are, I don't think we'll be as bad as 8 or higher. So in this case, probably 9, 10, 11, around there. So I grabbed Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. Not too many people know about him yet. He's starting to get a little bit more fame. I'll put it this way. He didn't have massive yardage throwing the ball. I think he had 2,800, something like that, but he had 27 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He also had almost 1,000 yards rushing. So definitely dual threat quarterback, super accurate, really poised. Last year really broke out. Played pretty well for the little bit he played the year before, and this year I expect him to still ball out. So he's definitely going to go up the radar. He's the 3rd-ranked quarterback. He's number 11 overall in the rankings. So I think he'll fall right to around where we would in this scenario. and definitely could, he's the type of player where you'd want to sit him for a year, which is why you have RG3, but they both had that same mobility type to where if he did come in, you don't have to change up your playbook. Maybe simplify a little bit because he's a rookie, but same style. And then next year, when RG3 is gone, he's your full starter, and then you can bring in really whoever to back up. So definitely there. Still had the same second round pick. Did have a different third round pick. So in this one, we kept Deion Bush. Grabbed his essential replacement after that. Probably start off the year, but grabbed a strong safety in the third round. Colby Harvell Peel from Oklahoma State. Another pretty big, solid, strong safety, decent build, really pretty good tackler. Plays best coming downhill. He plays best in that robber type position. Has crazy interceptions, really good ball skills. Needs a little bit of work on tackling and a little bit more to his frame, which I think adding maybe 10 more pounds will help with his tackling. Because he typically, especially with some of the bigger guys, tries to ankle tackle, and that could, get broken occasionally. So I think another year of him working in college and then sitting maybe behind Bush for a whole year, maybe part of the year, and gaining kind of that weight and experience, I think could help him out. And then the rest of them were the same, the linebacker, receiver, cornerback, the end, and running back. So same guys essentially as the others. But again, when I'm saying that these drafts, it's mainly people-wise, mainly the first 3 rounds 4 through 7 or more position-wise. So that'd be the draft in this case. So let me know what you think on all 3 of these. Which one you liked best, which one you hated, the most. Kind of who do you think has the best shot of, being on the Bears team next year, and who the quarterback's going to be next year. This year, I know most people are thinking Foles. I personally think Trubisky. We'll see. I think we may very well see both of them at some point starting this year. It wouldn't surprise me at all. So we'll see what happens. It's kind of up in the air right now. But let me know who you think the Bears quarterback's going to be for next year. Thanks for watching.